Before we get in the show, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This podcast is presented by the Birdsall Law Firm, the official injury lawyers of Pro Pels Talk, located at 918 Poydras Street by the Superdome. Give them a call at 504-523-5413. If you or someone you know has been involved in an accident, and make sure to mention that we sent you. We got five. We got Lito. We got Chris, Connor here on a Sunday night. Let's get right into it. Jarrett, you were in the building on Thursday, and there was a lot of speculation. Are we going to trade Brandon? Are we going to trade Zion for Scoot? So on and so forth. None of that happened, right? And so I feel like now the front office, once again, is all in on Brandon and Zion. What are your thoughts?
I mean, how can you not be? I mean, you kind of got to double down on what you've already predicted, right? You got Zion, bona fide all-star when healthy. Brandon could be an all-star when healthy. You have that on your roster. You kind of have to just kind of fill the roster around those guys and their skill set. I think getting a shooter in Jordan Hawkins at 14 is a pivotal move, right? Because we've been crying for shooters. I said this when the season ended. Like, your first objective is to get more shooting. I mean, that's been a problem. I think getting a guy like Jordan Hawkins at 14 is a good move. Were there other moves? Of course, there possibly could have been, but that was the one that they chose. I don't have a problem with it because that was a guy I was looking at.
Yeah, and Jarrett, we're gonna talk a lot about more of him here in the second segment. But Chris, me and you had a couple cocktails on Thursday. I don't know if we had the most sober thoughts.
Be sober, man.
So all in on Brandon and Zion. Did you think it was the right move?
Yeah, I mean, time will ultimately tell. I mean, I hope it's the right move, and it was kind of my line of thinking before, some of the reports and some of the things that have been said. Some of the things that we had heard from various folks about what could end up changing, and all the different stuff that was put out from articles and content, that we even put out on this network about the business aspect of it. But we did a show, I think, a month ago, right around the time that I think the Scoot Henderson, if like the first part about Scoot, the Pelicans being interested in Scoot dropped, and my thoughts were like, I'm willing to give it one last run and figure it out from here anyway. So regardless of how close things were, regardless of what did, here's where you're at. the question in itself, I mean, it has me ready to put my head through this damn computer screen. But yeah, man, I personally want to see it. I want to see them have one more shot at this, and we can reevaluate. And because I feel like if it doesn't work this year, a lot of jobs are gonna be lost, and people are gonna be moved anyway. So,
and Lito, that's perfect. I would just go off Chris's comments right there, because once again, in the offseason, and asking the same question. So do you think it was the right move by the front office? We'll give it one more shot, or would it be too late?
I think it was the right move by the front office. To answer your question, can they stay healthy? No. But I think it was the right move by the front office. I think that you got to give them, you basically, like verbatim what Chris said, you got to give them one last run. You know what I'm saying? To see if they can work it out as you have Zion under 5 years now, right? And then you're in control of his destiny, or your destiny, by having him under contract. And then the same, what BI got, what one more?
Yeah, I mean, he's got this year, the next.
All right. So like, I mean, you basically still in control of both contracts, so to speak. And you can, if it doesn't work out, you can jump out ahead of it, next summer, and I guess, quote unquote, right your wrongs. But I do think the best decision is for them is what they did, like keep them together. I mean, I'd have loved Scoot, I'd have loved Scoot, but is Scoot better than Zion? No. Is he better than Brandon? Today, like, no, he's not better than either one of them. So, yeah.
Jarrett, you were in the building Thursday. What was that like? Was it was it chaos? Was it kind of just quiet? Like, what'd you think? What'd you see and hear?
It was kind of funny. Like you see like some of the people walking around the building, they're kind of on eggshells. It's almost like certain information was being passed in passing. Like you'll hear a little snippet over here. Like somebody will make a comment about something, and you'll just see how they reacted, how some of the player personnel will react, or some of the social media people that were in the room, how they will react, because they get information too. Maybe, who knows? Who knows what they get? But kind of be in the building and try to understand like how this thing works and how people move, because realistically, sorry, we were on the Saints side, right? The Saints part of the building, they were on the opposite end. I guess the war room was on the opposite end in the Pelicans facility. So they separated by, let's say a football field. And just being in the building and understanding how people move and how the atmosphere was, it was cool. It was cool to be around certain people.
Yeah. And Chris, so we talked about Brandon, we talked about Zion, but I was thinking about it today, man. Like, no one's talking about CJ, which I think is interesting, because when he was, I looked at the stats. I did 46 games. I think he got hurt. It was January 28th against the Wizards is when he banged up his finger. Before that, the first 46 games, averaged 21 points per game, 6 assists, 39% from deep. You get a healthy CJ with a healthy Brandon Zion. I know, gotta stay healthy. Do you not like that team?
Yes. I mean, it's tough because, I mean, you're talking about like on paper and basketball, man. I mean, they need a larger sample size. I mean, who knows? 20 games, I may not like the team. I don't know if I like the team. I think I like the talent. I like the ideas that I formulate in my head, the positivity that I try to put forward, how I think, with an offense that has a couple more tweaks, a couple more, of structured and creative ideas. I mean, you throw in Trey and company. And what's funny, Justin, I was thinking about it as Five was talking. We have been talking a lot about Zion and BI and what it means to hold them and keep them together and all the different people involved. But you think about it, CJ's only been a Pelican for a season and a half. So if you put a lot on him in regards to the veteran aspect of things, and Larry Nance is, as well as some of the other older guys that you have on the team, depending on what you do with Jonas and such. But from CJ's perspective, I mean, I feel like you kind of gotta give him another, because when you brought him to New Orleans, it was to play with Zion and Brandon. And it feels like if you would have moved on from Brandon, or if you would have moved on from Zion, at that point, what message is that giving to him? And how long before you start thinking about moving him? So it's insane. It's infuriating. It's a lot of different words and explanations in regards to us being here again, because the odds are not in your favor in regards to these two guys staying healthy. The history, speaks for itself. But until then, we just imagine, man, because I still have no idea what this team looks like when they're all together. I can only hope.
Right. Jarrett, we talked about it. I thought CJ was, looking back on it, we're 2 months or whatever removed from that loss in OKC, and Lito will get your thoughts on this too. If CJ is the third option, in which he was penciled in to be and playing off Brandon and Zion, I think a lot of things are different. He was thrown into the fire where Zion was hurt, Brandon was hurt. He was clearly hurt, had to play through injury, play through all this stuff, because if we don't even have CJ, I mean, they might not have won a game the rest of the way. So I just think that, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Maybe I'm crazy, Chris, in Five. Like, I want to see these three again. I really do. I want to see the trio again, and I want to see them healthy. I know. I'm going to let y'all go.
Wait. You mean again? We've only seen it for 10 games. I mean, yeah. Of course. Of course, we all would like.
But there's a lot of people that break it up, change it. Like there were a lot of takes this week,
and that's okay. We got to be okay with people having those takes. They have an argument in saying that. Like, oh, they're not healthy. Cool, break it up, because you don't see them anyway. And then you have the opposite side of that saying, well, we haven't seen them. We should, double down. And I think this season is Griff and company double downing on that. Like, of course, you can see that their skill set kind of aligns, but you kind of have to see it gel. On paper, this game is not played on paper. This game is not. You can have the best. We've seen the best players in the world be on the same team and not win. Why? Because their styles didn't go together. This is just another example of like we have to see it pan out before we can actually give it a good assessment on it.
And in a new offense. In a new offense, right? That's another transition that that's taking place. We don't know if the offense is gonna make them better, if it's gonna keep them the same, if it's gonna make it worse. There's so many different things, and that leads into a lot of different moves that the team does this offseason. There's so many different question marks that you have that are all put on the shoulders of these two guys staying healthy, and and beyond. I mean, the pick of Jordan Hawkins, I think in theory, the player in itself, he fits. We, like Five said, we've all been asking, crying, and complaining about shooting and spacing and movement shooting, and we talked about possible free agent options and such. But the questions go beyond that. When you look at some of the other guys in this roster, who's going to return? How will the minutes open up? How will the patience? How patient will the staff be? You just brought in, another coach to the bench in Aaron Mills. I mean, there's just last year, man, when we were having conversations, it finally felt like, all right, we're not left in the middle of just confusion and the unknown. That was part of the fun in the offseason. It felt like, all right, there's a clear progression here to take. Now we're back with just a big question mark. So, yeah.
Lito. Well said, Chris.
Yo, man, we got to take it easy on. Like, look. We was all tough on CJ last year, and rightfully so. In certain arenas, like
Lito, I don't mean to cut you off. I gotta say this to Jared because I think that we were hard on him because of the decision making. I wanted to be. I didn't really care about like the makes or the points per games or whatever. I was more upset with the decision making, knowing that he was hurt and not getting off the ball and being more facilitated.
Let me put it in better. Let me put it in better terms for you. We were mad at CJ because we didn't feel like he was reading the room.
Yes,
we didn't necessarily know he was hurt, but something looked off, but he wasn't helping his case because he continued to play like the guy he was if he wasn't hurt. Right. Mm-hmm. So when you look at it like that, you like, what the fuck wrong with him? But when you take a step back and you look at the whole season in totality, right? Because I want to say this. I see people like talking crazy about CJ. Yo, 75 games played, 1,500 points, 38% from three, right? 38% from three. He had to take 1,300. He took 1,300 field goal attempts simply because 1 in 14 wasn't there. Somebody got to fill the void, dog. And if you look at it, nobody else on the team was ready to pick up that kind of production. Nobody was ready to put that kind of heavy lifting on his shoulders. You know what I'm saying? And even if you look at it, I think Trey played 79 games and he shot 40%. But like Trey wasn't ready to fill them shoes last year. You know what I'm saying? Like not going into this season, you might have a case for it. But like I think you got to respect Christian because the thing about Christian is I don't know what year this is, but I don't think bro, walking out of his sleep, waking up, he gonna get you 20. He gonna average 20. He gonna find a way. His game is crafty enough where it don't matter. There's a new offense. Guess what? Christian go be Christian. He go do that thing where he make it dance. Then he go shoot it from the mid range, right? So chill. So he's a guy I'm not worried about, especially if he's coming into this season healthy. I'm not worried about Christian, and I think. You getting people upset at him because of, he took however many shots. Yeah, that's because the motherfuckers who's supposed to be taking the shots wasn't on the court to take the shots.
Do that thing to make you dance.
That's crazy, dog.
It's crazy.
That's what dance instructors do. That's what I'm saying.
Five, go ahead.
I'm wondering what kind of dance instructor he is.
Hey, bro. Hey. It could have been worse. Could have drafted that guy from Kansas.
I mean, listen. No. Listen. That dude dressed like a Christmas elf did not need to be in New Orleans just based on the fan base alone. But back to Christian. I think with the was it a torn? What's it? What's that called? Labrum,
Yeah.
and he shot she was still shooting 38% from three. Like
Yes.
that's crazy.
Yes.
That's crazy to even think about.
And he had like 3 or 4 40-point games this year. I think it was
Yeah.
like I looked at the stat. I mean, go ahead. Sorry, Fon.
Like you were just saying, like that dude is a professional. Like he's gonna show up to play. Like my beef with him has nothing to do with anything. Him fighting through injury, right? It's about the decision making. But I think it is,
Right.
he couldn't dribble the ball because his fingers messed. Like he had one hand. So
Yeah. I think the memory I've etched in my brain is when it was like the last possession of the game against the Thunder. You had Trey Murphy wide open in the corner, like forced like a floater. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. You had a better option.
Hey, listen, I think that happens with time. That growth. Damn, bro, this is too many pauses. That happens with growth from a person like CJ, right? Like, especially playing with another person like Trey. Like, they are new to each other too. Like playing 1 year with another player is still new. Like it takes time.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll trust Trey next year because now that they've done it, they've gone through that realm. How long did he play with Dame? 8 years?
I think 8.
Like, what are we talking about? Like,
I think this was a good illustration for Trey 5, in which the entire team, outside of Zion, of course, slowly started to realize, all right, like we have been asking Trey to shoot the ball and be more aggressive, and that definitely helped. But it was also clear from the staff to the players, they realized the importance of him. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many months in this coming season he'll shoot 8 threes in a month, but I don't think that there's a clear, I guess, path for them to pick up where they left off and just understanding, okay, we have to make him a higher emphasis. But again, it's going to be interesting to see how that all works with new parts of your staff in a new offense. I mean, it's going to be so difficult having some of these discussions about improvements and what we want to see when we're talking about an entire new offense. Who knows what growth that what evolution Willie Green has had going into year 3. I'm really curious to the thoughts and what he's looking to get better at and what he learned and maybe what he was kind of upset with himself about from year 2 that he feels like he could have done better. Outside of, we haven't even gotten free agency yet. So I mean,
Can I add one point to this real quick?
Yeah.
I just want to just one more thing about Christian. He got to the free throw line because this was a point of contention. He shot 238 free throws, right? And as much shit as we talked about him not reading the room, right? As much shit as we talked about him, in his decision making, he still led the team in assists in totality.
Yeah. And I think Jared, he had correct me if I'm wrong, Lito, but I think he might have had a career best or second career best in free throw percentage. But Jared, we saw him literally work on that every single day after practice. But Jared, I want to ask you this to Chris's point. New offensive scheme coming in. Once again, the big 3 have played a total of 10 games, and you probably have 5 or 6 preseason games. I remember last year, Brandon sitting out with a toe injury. Then I think he played the last game. I think maybe it was in Birmingham. I could be wrong, or whatever. How important now are those preseason games with training camp? How important those are going to be?
Monumental, and James is going to bring a new element that we're going to play like this all the time. This is our style, and this is what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. And when you see a draft a player like Jordan Hawkins, and I think Ross said it on y'all's last pod, like this is a total James move. And you see the way Charlotte played last year and the year before, it's always similar. And I think getting up threes and corner threes are going to be like a huge component to this offense. And that's a layup to Trey Murphy. Justin, you and I, we've seen Trey and Najee and have these 3-point shooting contests. Yeah. And usually they're in the corner working on those, right? Like you can say Jose is a really good corner 3 shooter. So implementing these guys into that, really to their strengths, right? Or giving them some kind of idea of where their shots are going to come from, it's going to be huge. So those games, those early preseason games are going to be monumental to getting off to a good start this season.
5, you had an entire article about identity. We had a lot of shows talking, asking what the identity of what this team was, and regardless of how anyone feels about the pick, if they would have liked someone else, if they don't, if they think Jordan Hawkins is going to be able to make an impact, whether it be because of his play, or because of him being a rookie, or because of the way he falls in the rotation, that's an identity pick. It fits to where you say this guy. No, we're taking this guy because he's going to fit into our style. So what we want to do, like that builds an identity, and you can't be upset about that, right? They are going to at least have some kind of principles. You talked about corner threes. 5, Borrego comes in known big on angle pick and rolls, right? How many angle pick and rolls will we see, and in the variety, with the options that you will have with the different level of dribblers that from CJ to Zion to Brandon to to Dyson to Trey. Like I'm really, if I'm excited about anything that has a question mark and that is unknown, I'm really curious about what a fresh and updated system is going to look like that has clear principles and identities from today, not when the season starts, not depending on who's available, no matter who's out there. This is what we're doing, and this is how we're playing.
And I to piggyback off that, like, right, you can look at the league now, like the way it's going is more offense, right? Like it's a direct line, beeline to, hey, we're trying to get as many shots as we possibly can, because more shots on goal, more shots we make, possibly, more times we win. The Pelicans were 29th in the league at 3-point attempts.
Yes,
they're 15th in 3-point percentage. That means they take good threes. They just don't take enough threes, right? So getting up more threes, and what's a good 3-point shot? The corner three. So it all makes sense. Drafting a guy like Jordan Hawkins. I think it's easier to teach a guy to play defense rather than teaching him how to shoot.
Yes,
that's just my opinion.
A million percent. Lito, because it's perfect. Let's get to Jordan Hawkins now. Chris and 5 just nailed it. Borrego, that was his guy. And once again, we've heard that he crushed the workouts, and they went and got their guy. They didn't move up. They didn't have to move up. They didn't have to move back. They just stayed at 14. How do you like Hawkins around players such as Zion, CJ, Brandon, Trey? I mean, think about that. I mean,
this is such a
surrounding Zion with shooters.
This is the best question you ever asked me. Thank you. Like last time you asked me how I thought about Willie Green's offensive game, some crazy shit. You like, I don't know what you.
It was one time like 4 weeks ago.
that was crazy. Thank you for this one. But listen, I got to answer. All right, it's very simple, and I'm gonna get right to it. So 5 just said the Pelicans were 29th in threes attempted, right? In 37 games, Jordan Hawkins made 109 threes. Shot 38% from behind the arc he shot 7.6 attempts per game, right? In 37 games. And to break that down, right? Let's do some math. CJ in 75 games, right? He made 211. Trey made 202 in 79 games, right? The next closest person is Jose Alvarado, who made 83 of them in 61 games, right? So when you asking me what will Jordan Hawkins do, like it's not even the threes. It's not the threes, right? Because they not regular threes, right? These not standstill threes. This is not you getting double to kick it out to an outlet. Nah, this is a man who made 109 threes running full speed all over the court, right? Setting his man up, going in the opposite position. Like, that's not normal, dog. Why Chris got on glasses? That's not normal, dog. Like, the NBA used to be filled with like tons of those guys. Like, it was a whole lot of Reggie Millers and JJ Redicks and shit. Like, I don't even think they make basketball players like that no more. Like, your endurance got to be crazy for you to start one way, going the opposite way, use your man going in one direction and cutting back. So, like, it's basically like he ran a marathon in 4 quarters and still shot a high percentage at the 3-point line. But his motion in this offense is going to be entirely different. Like Hawkins is basically playing a game within the game. So, like, to answer your question, yes, it's going to be incredible.
I don't, Chris.
Look, man, he got all mathematical and scientific, man. If I had a lab coat, I gotta look the part, man. Like, hold on, like, you know what I'm saying? Well, numbers,
you look like Fable.
It was a Barbara. All right, I'm sorry, Justin. I apologize. What's the question?
Jordan Hawkins.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, like 100%, man. I think of a lot of the dribble handoffs and just the relationship that Zion and JJ built, like off the run. You know what I mean? Like just quickly. Those two had one of the best 2-man games, specifically in that first year. And you think of Jordan and his ability coming off screens and running left and right. Everybody knows that one clip where he comes out like 6-7 screens, and I mean he's so. If the offense continues to be creative, I mean there's no one outside of CJ who still has a want to get to the mid range, and will take some time with in some cases over dribbling. That's not Jordan Hawkins' game. He catches the ball, it's to do one thing, it's to shoot, and it's a quick release. He can shoot with the screen in front of him. He can shoot all balance. He can shoot. I've seen him shoot in the corner. I've seen him shoot. I've seen him pump fake. I've seen him I've seen him drive. Like he has so many different mid range. I don't have a problem with Jordan Hawkins, even if I had a particular thought about my process. That is perfect. That archetype is perfect for this team and these kind of players that have so many individuals that want to get to the paint or to the mid-range. 100%. My only question is, what kind of patience will this staff and this coach have with a young guy that's not defense first? I'm sorry. I have PTSD because I watched Trey struggle and was offensively. I saw him go through a slump in his first year. I saw him go through a slump, to start in different parts of the second year. And, at certain part, it felt like the staff lost faith in him, a little bit of trust. It all, and we started seeing all different type of crazy rotation moves and starting lineup changes that didn't make sense. If Jordan Hawkins struggles defensively, if he can't give you much else as a creator, and he goes through a cold slump, and this team, and they decide that, all right, they decide that game one they're going to have him in the rotation. What type of patience will they have when he goes through a slump that all shooters go through? That's what I'm curious about, because when you look at the young guys that have played consistently for this team, the ones that we talk a lot about are defenders. The young guy, I mean, that's just that's how it goes. Maybe with the changes, maybe with the evolution of Willie Green and some of the people that have been with the staff previously, maybe that changes. That's my only wonder and my only concern. We're just talking about year one Jordan Hawkins.
Yeah, my bad. My only rebuttal to that is seeing, that team, or let's say the previous team, previous iteration of this team with certain coaches on the coaching staff, they were so confused, right? That Trey had no other option to be confused, because they were confused too. So they were going up and down and kind of depicting on how they wanted to play and the changes they made. So of course Trey was going to be up and down. There was no consistency. It's like a kid, right? It's like, if there's no stability at home, how do you expect a kid to be stable in school and doing their work? No, there needs to be a stable organization, stable offense for Jordan Hawkins to either rise or fall in, and then you can make a proper decision on this young man, rather than, we're going to play this way tonight, and then next week we're going to play a different way, and then we're going to expect this young man to be at his top level. No, the ground is being taken from under him, just like Trey's was, right?
And you make a great point, Jarrett, because I think it's very important, and you talk about it all the time. It's like what we just mentioned, the identity. Like, it doesn't matter who is out, you're going to play the same way. And I feel like with Borrego, we're going to instill that. And I think offensively, you're going to see a lot better, more fluent offense. Now, that's an interesting point, Lito, because I keep like, what are we doing with JV? Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? That's still a major question for me because listen, I like JV. I do. We don't use him right. Now, Borrego comes in, that could change. I really don't know what you do with him because he's still on a good contract.
I mean, the man only played 1,900 minutes last year, so you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Fable. I feel like, I mean, are they gonna keep JV?
Like, why wouldn't you?
I don't know why JV would want to
that?
come back. Like, I don't know why JV would want to come back to this particular
Lito,
situation.
he said, what did he say a month ago? He said, I'd be happy to come back.
Yeah, I hollered at my comrade. He just got his degree. So, you know, like we keeping it a buck. But like I feel like how this particular team wants to play, I don't know if JV is the best option for how this team wants to play.
Explain.
Well, like, okay. For instance, I just told you he played 1,900 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. Which is probably like a career low since he's been a starter. What do you think JV's role was last year?
Oh, I don't know because it changed every game. I have no clue.
Not until February. Until February, we had no idea. It was kind of like
he kind of closed. He didn't close.
Yeah, how you live.
Yeah,
you know, like
that's basically
question 5 asked Willie about Trey. Like it just was, yo man, you get it in the rhythm of the offense. You know, like what I wonder is, all right, I'll give them credit. Few people said in their exit interviews that it was going to be that this team was going to be looking for shooting upgrades and rim protection. They got one shooter. I don't know if they'll add another, if they'll make any moves. But I'm pretty confident that they're going to add a rim protector. Is that rim protector going to be – I have a hard time seeing if you're going to keep Larry Nance, how that rim protector is going to be just a third big in the rotation. You know what I'm saying? I think it feels like if they are going to add a rim protector and you're still trying to outline if this team is healthy, because you still have to figure in Zion at the 5 minutes. We got a small sample of Herb at the 5 minutes. Trey got stronger. Will we see Trey at the 5 minutes? Like all of these different options that you are going to have. It feels like if they said that they are going to add, they took a shooter at 14, a lottery pick. It feels like if you said that's something that's going to be very important to you, and I think Griffin or Trajan said it again after the draft. It feels like it's going to be to replace Jonas. That's just how I read, everything, and that's outside of the fact that what we saw last year. There was so many games towards the end. It just felt like there's just no way Jonas is going to return to this team.
Right. 5.
They just don't do my dog any justice at this point. He plays reverse psychology on him. He got his degree. He see the play before it happened, so he gonna say the right things. And it's a bad feeling because the dude's super talented, and there was a lot of games where he could have been, he could have had 30 and 20. It just they didn't play him enough, or he's playing really well and they take him out, like or don't give him a longer leash, right? And it's frustrating to see because like, all right, he's done this before. He's been in this league a long time. He's added. You could say his 3 balls gotten even more consistent, right? Even if he does that stupid pump fake, he's still gonna make it happen. And I'd hate to see him go because if I'm Borrego, I'm looking at like, no, I'm keeping all the weapons I want. Like, no, this dude can.
And he loves to play through the big too. Borrego's big on playing through the big.
It's a really good, and also he's a really good screener. And it's kind of hard to find like these elite screeners out there.
It's disgusting.
It's hard. It's hard to find like elite screeners out there. I think he's a really good one. It's just the guards aren't really good enough at coming off the screen. So I think there needs to be some kind of teach.
How many moving screens did we have this year?
Oh my goodness!
We had to lead the league in.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Stop blaming
you
on
sounded
the big.
disgusted.
That's also a good point. 5. If you're going to make a point or you can get an argument for Jonas to return. If Borrego's offense is as much about movement as it is, you talk about the different pick and roll looks, and you talk about the kind of involvement that he wants his players being more on the run. Kind of got to have some decent or good screeners involved in these actions to be able to visualize that and make that happen. So it's not like Jonas has had a career where he's been playing 30 minutes a game his whole career. He's used to on winning teams dating back to Toronto and sometimes with Memphis. He's used to having 20-minute games, 25 minutes. Like, he's not the guy that we got last year that was playing, high volume of minutes. That's not what his career has been, especially on good teams. He had to do that out of necessity because the first question, number 1 and number 14 weren't on the floor together, and somebody had to give this team extra offense in the half court. His contract isn't that crazy. There's a way to make
these contracts these contracts.
No. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good value for the production you can't give him if you utilize him. So I can see Jonas returning, but they have to be honest. Everybody has to be honest, and there has to be a plan in place. And they have to I've talked about the confusion. If it's clear what's going on versus we just trying to figure this out on the run, on the fly, and there's a clear plan in place towards him. And some nights are gonna be Larry. They wanted to close with Larry Nance almost every night when Larry was healthy.
They did for the first 20-something games, and they ran him into the ground.
Yeah, but if it's true, if you're not going to deviate from Jonas without really any type of explanation or plan involved, and not use him, it's pointless to have him.
True. Before we get into the last segment, Chris, I forgot I had to bring this up. This is
people didn't like that.
Is Jordan Hawkins the black JJ Redick?
I was just watching film, and that's what I thought about JJ being a Pelican, and that's what I thought about. Some people took that literal, like, no shit, they're not the same athletically. That's hey, what? Come on, man. I'm literally just specifically talking about movement and how he could be used strictly with Zion.
And Jared, another thing. Sorry, I wanted to ask you this because his release is lightning quick.
Yeah,
lightning quick.
It reminds me of a guy that went to UConn. I know this is crazy. We're talking about a Hall of Famer.
What's his name?
But
no. Say his name.
They call him Jesus from time to time. That's what they say. They call him Jesus from time to time. He was in a movie. You know what I'm saying?
In a movie or two.
He got recruited by Big State. That was a really crazy scene.
Jordan did, huh?
Yeah. Jordan film. He was in there with your man. The greatest actor of all time.
That was his dad, yeah.
Yeah, that was his paw.
Wow.
Wow. Ray Allen. If y'all didn't catch those subs, but
you left the most important part out about Lala. But keep going.
we go. We got a Lala when we want to confuse it too.
No, not that Lala.
Listen, his release, the way he's built, they're both 6'5", sneaky athletic, can get to the rim. I mean, I'm not saying he's gonna have like this super Hall of Fame career. No, but the kid can shoot. I think he's going to have a successful career because he can shoot, and I think all those other things will come as time progresses. If he's in the right system and the right coaches around him, the ball's not going to be in his hands. I think that's great for him. The ball doesn't have to be in his hands. Just space the floor and play behind those guys, and also run plays for him when he is hot.
Yeah,
and then once you start running plays for him, that opens up everything. It's almost like an inverse action as well. Like, you can run things for him just to get Zion or Brandon open for an easy layup. I mean, what are we doing? It's basketball, people.
Leo, do you think that was a fair comparison? Like, do you see JJ?
I'm never going to be the person to ever give Chris Conner credit. Like, I don't want good things in life for him, right? That's not what I want. But when I saw it, I knew exactly what he was talking about. And I literally just said Jordan Hawkins is running the Crescent City Classic while he's playing basketball. Like, they literally do the same thing, bro. The movement is nonstop. So, yes, he was spot on. Don't tell him I said it. He was spot on with his comparison to that. Like, and it's a weird, and I don't know why people hated it so much. And I don't understand why people hated like,
People hated the tweet.
People hate everything. Nobody.
Why would someone hate that tweet?
Nobody likes anything. Everybody wants to be miserable. No matter what you say, no matter what you say, people gonna hate it. So that's just they had to find something to hate on that day. And I'm cool with it because I hate a lot of. Oh wow, nigga hate. I don't know what up, man.
Wait, bring that tweet back up.
Hey.
Oh man. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, Otto.
Two-time mean tweet of the week winner, by the way.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he's two times.
I think that boy, I think he's doing this on purpose. I think he's trying to get up on
man, shout out to Otto, man.
He's trying to get his followers up. Trying to get his interactions up.
I can't believe people really dislike that. I thought it was a great tweet. I was like, it actually does. The way he moves off of screens, literally that's what JJ would do. And the way he squares up quick, man.
Bro, he's running. Let's really talk about that. He is running off these screens.
Do you know how
fucking speed,
your endurance has to be? Like, you want to talk about that's crazy. That's what Steph Curry does, man.
Bro, that literally was the point I was making when I was talking about how many threes he shoots a game and how fast he's running. Yo, that's not normal.
He was their number one option. Like, this isn't like a guy like no, they're trying to feed the big man and he's coming off of that. Like, no, they know he's getting the ball and they couldn't stop it. They know he's getting the ball. And that's a really beautiful thing about it. Like, he's reading how the defense is playing up. I think that's really key about it. I think not a lot of people are bringing that up is, no, he's reading his defender. Like, he knows where they are. Yeah. Like, he knows how to set them up and come off a screen. I think this kid can be really good in the right place. Hopefully he's here.
That's hard to teach, too.
And then the other thing, too, like, I think when you talk about, growth as a player, like, AD likes to say growth isn't linear, but I'd like to think that when you see this form of Jordan Hawkins, like, this isn't his final form either. Like, it's not to say, like, he's never going to be, I don't know, Devin Booker off the dribble, right? But I'm saying, like, he probably could add a dribble pull up or two. He can add like small things where it can enhance his game. If you look at him in college last year, bro, he averaged 5 points a game, right? To go from 5 points,
He's a worker.
He's a worker.
Yeah, I think in Christian Clark's article today, he said he interviewed Hurley, who the coach of UConn, and he said that they had a meeting in the offseason that he needed to get up more shots because he was so efficient. I thought that was
he shot. I think impressive. He had three 3-point attempts per game last season. To go from 3 to 7.6, to go from 5 points a game to 17 points a game, basically in a single season is crazy.
Big jump. It's a big jump.
Him and Trey Murphy are going to be best of friends for a lot of reasons. There's some comparisons there from some of the things that we heard about Trey coming out and just the the awareness. I think Trey was 21 when he was drafted. Trey was more of a spot up guy than the motion that Jordan Hawkins brings you. But I mean, he talked heavily about how happy he was that the team was adding shooting when he was on ESPN during the draft, and you can just imagine those guys. I mean, talking about the shooting competitions, those two having a shooting competition is going to be crazy. There's not going to be anybody else that
they could literally be
compete.
They could literally be their own version of the Splash Brothers if it works out.
Well, that's what I was going to actually ask you, Chris, because Trey. Stationary not most of the time, but kind of stationary. Hawkins running off, snaking. Did you do someone tweeted me that? Do you agree with that? I'm not saying Trey's like maybe because you know what, they never really drew up anything for Trey, so how could he possibly come off screens and move? I mean,
I don't think when he came out of college, like I wouldn't say it was a strong suit. And I wouldn't say that he was necessarily elite at it, but it's hard to judge him on it because we didn't really get a chance to see enough of it. And last year he got better. He did get better.
Yes.
You saw different releases. You saw quicker releases. You saw higher releases off the move. Until you get a chance to really see it at a volume, at a high volume. I just think Jordan Hawkins is more advanced, like today at it or at an earlier stage. That's his, that's his specialty, or it's one of his specialties. So I can see it, but I don't know if I think Trey needs to still has some work to do there until we see it at a higher volume. I don't know if it's even fair from my perspective to say he isn't good at it, but I think Hawkins has him beat, if that's the question.
Something that just popped up in my head that I kind of like to think about. Justin, we've talked about this before when you watch Steph and Clay and Draymond have the ball at the top and Clay will set a screen for Steph. Steph will roll, and it's almost like you got to pick your poison, right? And then you'll just see a dive. If Trey became a better screener, bro, he won't even have to run off a screen. If I'm him, I'm going to set screens no matter what.
Yep.
Because as soon as you do that, they got to figure out what they're going to do. Are they going to switch on Zion? Are they going to switch on Jordan? They're going to switch on BI? They're going to switch on CJ? Oh, they're not. Oh, they're going to go with them. They're going to double him. Cool. I get to step back and shoot it. Bro, it's going to open up everything for everybody else. Screening is so important.
That's why Steph Curry's elite, because he's one of the best back screeners, because that then confuses defenses and he comes off of pin downs wherever he wants to because they didn't switch or communicate it. Setting a back screen when you're a shooter is probably one of the best things you can possibly do to get open.
Yeah. You got to come up with a cool nickname for them.
For who?
For Trey and Jordan.
Let's see him shooting first.
I don't want to hear Trey come up with any more nicknames.
Nah,
I'm talking about this tomorrow. I'm not letting that brother off the hook. Real Stroker is crazy.
Dog. Like, come on now, man.
It's crazy.
Larry can't do it either.
Yeah,
they're gonna be. Oh man. I mean,
Larry just stick to the Photoshop, dog. Like this. It's simple, bro.
I mean, you got the splat. Are they go?
Yo, Trick. No more.
No, I'm about to. The Stroke Brothers.
No, Trey. No, bro.
I'm just saying, you leave it. All right. Until further notice, that roster cannot come up with any more nicknames.
No,
we see better. I'm gonna talk about that tomorrow. That's crazy, bro. Because
so as Chris is saying that, speaking of which, best tweet of the week, Larry Nance. You think they are mature enough for a space yet? At Chris or on Patient Bull. Then Trey Murphy with the quote tweet. Somebody text you when the next space is up. Chris, this is gonna be a fun one tomorrow. What do y'all got planned?
I'm going to do a little bit of a pre-show. Get as many people that want to since it's gonna be streamed live on YouTube. Many people that want to come and join and talk before the show actually starts. It will not be typically we record and we store whatever spaces that are done on Twitter. This won't be one of those. It will be streamed live and will be recorded and left on YouTube. So if you want to see it after the show, gotta come to the page and you gotta come see us to end up seeing the show after it's done. So yeah, man. I mean, it's gonna be fun, man. I think we should. I expect. I think Trey will definitely show up. I expect CJ to show up. I don't know if they'll speak or not, but I have a feeling this one will be a lot more advanced and a lot more challenging in regards to, since Larry knows how it works, and I think we'll have a good time, man.
You know what? It's crazy. The real answer to the question is no. These people aren't mature enough for this. I hope he knows what he's getting into. This is about to be hilarious. This is going to be fucking hilarious, bro.
Yeah.
I had no clue where you were going with that.
It's going to be bad.
Oh man.
You don't believe it? You don't believe it in the spaces? Hell spaces?
I don't believe in maturity.
Oh my God. Heck no.
We'll see, man. I think maybe I have a lot of belief in my ability to control this, and I think
for sure.
I'm last time people were I don't like saying adults were well behaved. So I got to come up with a different way, but people weren't disrespectful. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that doesn't start, because the thing about space is that once one person gets disrespectful, it just go. Everybody has to get disrespectful. We'll see, and Lord knows if CJ gets on that stage and Trey, then it kind of changes the climate and things. So it's one thing about spaces, Pelican spaces, you don't know, but I'm happy that it's really dope that Larry wanted to run this back, and I'm telling you, man, like it opens up access for future players and just at least the community feeling involved, and it's unique because you look around the league. I don't see many other players on their respective teams just talking to the people that come and support by their merchandise and come watch them live. At least not twice. So, hopefully it continues. Shout out to Larry for that.
Good job, Larry.
Fun, so.
Hey. Good job, Chris, dog. Good job.
Appreciate that.
It's gonna be fun tomorrow. Anything else? I was getting a summer league, but we're about to cap. We're out of time.
Chris needs to start selling do-rags. We just waiting. We all waiting on do-rags from Chris.
We gonna get this shirt. We gonna get this shirt first.
Yeah.
And then we gonna lead to the do-rag.
Gotcha.
And we've been, man, and at some point, man, a soldier rag has to happen, man. I was supposed to have been thought about something on that. So man, but yeah,
I thought about that. That's crazy. I thought about that earlier.
Are we talking about summer league? No.
We'll save it for either Wednesday or next Sunday. Good to see you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Love to hear your thoughts on what the Pelicans can do if they stay healthy. Presented to you by Chris Smith Realty. Make sure to give them a call at 504-231-2004. We will see y'all. Hopefully we'll see y'all tomorrow with live spaces starting at 6:15. Later.